Chapter 44. Taking Leave. His departure imminent, a mere week away, he decided to pay a last visit to his dear departed friend before leaving for the college on the outskirts of Dublin, high in the mountains. A college by the sea on the outskirts of Dublin also appealed to him, but he elected for the one high in the mountains, to be away from it all. It seemed the best way to escape, and he didn't need to be cajoled into going either. Leaving his bike by St. Shinnock's Well, he crossed the stile into the old graveyard. There wasn't a sinner around. They were all dead anyway. Ned had already done the rounds of his maring, and, content that all was in order, he had gone on about his business. Checking that the surrounding fields were empty, he climbed the mount to survey the hinterland. Content that he was alone, he went back inside the graveyard and went down on one knee by her grave. A simple wooden cross was all that marked the spot, and he had put it there. Nothing else told the world of her passing. He looked around for something more permanent, but nothing stood out. He remembered a stone he had seen close to the lime kiln at Loch Sheedon and decided to go look for it. Crossing the fields above the well, he left the loch to one side and descended by the lime kiln. Sure enough, it was still where he had seen it. It resembled a face with a hint of a smile, a bit like Mona Lisa, as he remembered seeing it. It seemed a perfect marker for the grave of one who possessed a permanent smile and a unique attitude to life. Mounting it on the carrier, he went back to the graveyard and placed it firmly by the head of the grave, where it seemed so at ease with its new location. Happy now, he gave it a knowing wink and headed home. It was time to go. There was nothing left to keep him about the place now. The school pals were getting ready to follow their fathers into the fields or the raised bogs near Cana or Mount Dillon, where they would commence their formal apprenticeship. Such courses were integral to a secure future and highly regarded around Abbeyshrule. Not for Seamie, though. The escape hatch was as wide as a haggard gate, and he grabbed it with both hands after consulting Tess. Though now with her daughter in another sphere, she still hovered close. He felt her presence as that of a guardian angel, only much more real and finite. She knew that he could forge his own way now, but she poked occasionally to remind him of her presence. How could he forget her? She had opened his mind to other worlds, some long gone, others to come. Trained him for a battle as Sertanta had trained Cuchulainn, only less for fighting and more for living. With such mental resources, he could walk where angels feared to tread and rest after battle by the hob, where they often broke potato bread and drank mugs of tea by the light of the fire. Possessed of a photographic memory by dint of her constant encouragement, and comfortable in the knowledge that he could recount her tales verbatim, he sought the outlet to display them. It was within arm's reach, just a few days' march away, or a couple of hours by train from Mullingar or Longford. The initial sequence of events would closely follow that of his brother Mikey, who had already progressed from the college near Moat to a more refined educational outlet in Sutton on the North Dublin coast. Mikey's stories were almost as good as Tess. Such going-ons were difficult to comprehend at first, but gradually gained credence as one observed the link in the chain. And why not? They answered most of his questions and provided an opening to a new way of life. Mounting Betsy, he set out to bid adieu to his neighbours and friends in the sure knowledge that whatever lay ahead could hardly better that which had already transpired. So you're off to join your brother, Vic. If you learn half as much as him, we won't be able to keep in with you at all. Mammy Egan chuckled through her two remaining teeth as she pressed a 10-bob note into the youngster's half-clenched fist. Go on, take it, Seamie. It'll come in handy for the things you'll need above in the big smoke, she advised, as she paid little heed to his attempts at refusing her kind offering. The pattern repeated itself at every other door. Though poorer than church mice, they always had a little held in reserve for a special cause. The stag and cowboy were supping tea when he entered. Pulling the stool from under the table, the cowboy told him to sit and join them. Tess told him never to refuse tea in a humble house because it would be considered a slight. The conversation swung to their sister somehow. He didn't quite catch the inference, but felt her disappearance had something to do with his father. They beat around the bush a bit before it dawned on them that he had no idea where they were coming from, so they let the hare sit. It was years later before he met Violet, a charming older lady, still full of life and stories of her youth. But that's another story.